because it has so much flex, that is crazy. Do a couple, like 1 or 2 flat strikes.
All right.
You'll understand instantly what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go.
Shadowverse.
All right, Tyrant, I heard there's a crusade, and I think we are ready for it this time because we have the museum replica Faithkeeper sword here to review. You're smiling?
I'm gonna say something controversial.
What were you going to say?
I'm not the biggest fan of this one.
What?
Yeah, genuinely. I'm not. It's just not to my liking. That doesn't mean it's bad.
That's your personal taste, because if you were to put that aside, this is actually one of the nicer swords we have been sent to review.
Well,
the quality and finish and workmanship and
weight.
The weight.
The weight of this is something that I don't like that much about Crusader swords because they're never done right. The weight is always trash on them.
This weight is great.
This weight is perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm actually not, that's not bad. I'll give it that.
It is, the reason why the weight is so good is by the very generously sized pommel it has on there. I mean, that's a pommel, man.
Yeah. This is a, what is it? Museum replicas.
Faithkeeper.
Faithkeeper. These are outsourced to Windlass, which we've had some experience with. This one is a lot higher quality than the other ones that we've made by Windlass.
This is actually very nice. Now, we have been sent to for review, which means we will be destroying one of these things, probably this one, to see how tough it holds up under extreme abuse, okay? Before we get there, we need to comment on the overall fit and finish, the quality, and the general stuff about this sword. And I have to say, I'm actually quite impressed. There are a number of features and things that come really nicely with this beautiful sword.
The scabbard is actually really nice. I like all the accents. The accents are like a castings, but it's pretty nice. I like that it comes with the...
A full scabbard and belt.
Yep, with the belt.
Leather.
Yes. In terms of the crossguard and the pommel, there is a little bit of, the quality, the inlays, things like that, the paint. It's not the highest quality it could be, but it's not bad either. I feel like that's a good way of describing it. I'm not actually sure what metal they've used for these crossguard and pommel. It looks like silver. It's not silver, but these inlays, maybe they are. Like, there's some interesting stuff going on with metals here.
So one of the things that I think they've done particularly nice, and I'm interested to see how well it holds up, but the wrap on the handle is something that is, I guess, higher detailed than what you'd usually get. It isn't just a straight leather wrap. And look, I love the look of certain straight leather wraps, especially if they have risers in and textured indents. This one is like a strapped leather wrap, but it's really tight. It feels like it's holding together, and then it has a crosshatch over top, which I love. I think that's actually a more distinctive flair that you don't often see on many swords.
Yeah. I'm not really a fan.
You're not a fan of it?
In terms of quality-wise, I don't really have any gripes just yet. Maybe this over-wrap will come a bit loose once we start swinging it around.
That is a concern, but we will find out.
But in terms of the quality, just how it comes out of the box, it seems to be all right. It's been held in by some little brass, I would say, pins or nails. But apart from that, yeah, it seems to be all right. The fit and finish between where the leather joins, where the crossguard meets. Where the crossguard meets the blade, there is a large gap. I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Yeah.
But what's the price range of this one?
This is 300 and something on their Museum Replicas website. That could be US but Museum Replicas, we'll double check this, could be pounds.
Okay.
But for us in Australia, after import tax and stuff like that, this would end up being like a $700-800 sword.
Yeah, I don't know if that you shouldn't have told me that. Because you got to remember, these things don't exist in a vacuum. They are compared to other swords in the same sort of categories and price ranges. For that sort of price, I don't know.
I think, no, I think you're getting quality for your dollar on this one so far. This is a 1080 high carbon steel blade, which is actually quite a high carbon steel. A lot of swords are usually more in the 1060 range. I'm really interested to see how well this one holds up. Now, I'm expecting, like you can already tell, it has a spring temper on it, which is pretty nice. Okay, we'll see how well that goes. There is a cutout on the blade, right at the base here, if you can see that right there, and it's a cross. Do you think that might weaken the sword and be a focal point for failure?
I don't think so.
We'll find out. Like, we're going to test it to destruction, put this thing under extreme abuse to find out. So that might just be not an issue at all. Now, the only other thing I could probably comment on is it's got a beautiful scabbard, but it's not the most perfect fit. It slides in really nicely, but can you hear this?
Yeah.
It's loose, so it's not a tight fit inside the scabbard. It's actually rattling around down in the base there.
To be fair though, this is one of the nicest scabbards that I've seen on a sword lately. So I'm not going to give it too much.
Well, the leather wrap on the scabbard is really clean. The stitching is good. It even has some accents and risers for the belts. And it's a more historical type of belt attachment as well. And then these kind of, do you see these, what the pins, lockets, or
What, these?
yeah,
Accents.
accents. I like that. Look,
The belt accents.
belt
these things right here.
accents.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
They're quite nice. Did you want to get to some cutting? See
Let's
how it
get
moves
to
around?
some cutting, and again, slides out really smoothly. Okay, and then it comes to the weight and handling of this thing. This is very nice. Let us test this sword.
You need to hit harder.
Yeah, I was purposely doing a low-powered hit just to see how much the sword will do the work for you. Because it is a sharp blade. No, she's sharp, But might not be a sword that will do the work for you. I think already I'm having to put some effort into it to make sure I get a good cut.
I don't know about that one.
Maybe.
Well, to be fair, there are swords with different blade geometries
Yeah,
that
it
are
could be
not
edge
good at
profile.
cutting. Yeah.
See, that one
was good.
That was smooth. It's getting most of the way through. There we go. Alrighty.
How did it feel though?
The weight was all right. You give it a go.
Because yeah, I don't think the weight is too bad. See, that doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah.
I think it's just your edge alignment.
Maybe I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, that can happen because it's kind of zipping through, actually.
It's working for you.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I like that. Because like I said, I'm actually not that big of a fan of this type of sword. I feel like I want longer.
Yeah, two-handed.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a learning curve for me, but once I apply my brain, she's working. In terms of comfort, it's not the most comfortable handle I've ever held, but I mean, I actually think it's about equivalent to a katana in terms of the ridges on a katana.
Maybe, but like, all right, so I've said that I'm not the biggest fan of these type swords, and the reason usually is why is because I think these handles are too thin for the amount of blade I got, and so it feels I feel like I have to apply more force into my hand than, like, for example, the octagonal handle. That feels far more comfortable and wieldable. This one feels it's a bit skinny.
See, I don't know, I don't get that.
It's only going to happen once.
So this is actually a decently long blade for a one-handed sword. We have much shorter one-handed swords. And I think one of the things that were throwing me to begin with is I was cutting too far down.
You were, yes.
Cutting at the tip on this thing, towards the tip, much more momentum, much more speed. Oh, that's butter right there. That is just butter. So going towards the tip, this is, all right, let's, I haven't done many reverse edge single-handed cuts.
They're tricky.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to risk that at the moment. Not with the way I'm feeling today. Remember, look, we have a sword safety video where we say, don't try and use a sharp sword with moves that you haven't drilled and practiced a lot of. I haven't done a lot of drills for one-handed reverse edges. Two-handed, much more comfortable. I'll do a two-handed reverse edge. But one-handed, I think I'd want a bit more confidence on it. Ah, look, it's amazing how night and day that was. On bad cut, crap. So this is an unforgiving sword with bad edge alignment, but on a good edge alignment, butter. That is just like it wasn't there. Yeah. So this sword was donated from a viewer years ago, and I don't know where it originally came from, but it's got a good, carbon steel spring blade on it.
It's a nice sword.
Okay, size comparison though. Have a look at this compared to this. All right, length is about the same, but the girth and power of this, right? This is like a battlefield sword, where this is more like a sidearm, elegant.
I don't know. I feel like this is pretty reasonable.
But this is made for real damage.
Yes, that is robust. This is still very usable.
Oh, that's a gorgeous sword still.
I like it.
And in terms of length, well, you can see the size difference with these arming swords here. And look, I love the Philippe sword. Battlefield, you reckon? I could see it used on a battlefield in armor combating, but certainly a good sidearm for self-defense. Like this matches a buckler, gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the Faithkeeper is made. It's basically and they do call it a Templar sword, right? Yeah. And so it's made for battle in the Crusades.
I like this one more.
Why do you like that one?
I like this one. This one is like a well-built sword. It's well-weighted. I like the design of the crossguard. Like, I actually like this sword.
I like this
surprisingly.
sword. I like them both.
Sure, why not both?
Why not both?
All right, let's start by smashing into this wood. Not with these, with the one we're reviewing.
All right, as usual, this is a test to see what the wood does to the sword, not what the sword does to the wood, even though sometimes we are impressed by how much damage we end up doing. But let's see how well this one holds up. Not bad, I wasn't holding back. There's a slight wave in it. You reckon that was there before?
That's like manufacturing tolerances.
You reckon? Yeah, that's what I think. It's within manufacturing tolerances. Other than that, held up like a pro.
Yeah, it did.
You saw it wobbling. There was some good flex on it.
Yep. All right, my turn.
All right. You could be such a brute sometimes.
They weren't that hard. They were reasonable.
Dude, I saw this thing bouncing.
That's not my fault, right?
You took some good chunks out of that. How'd it hold up?
Fine. The only, like I said right at the start, the handle's thin, so you feel that.
It didn't bother me. Man, yeah, there's nothing on this blade.
I didn't think there would be for this. But
I mean,
what comes next is I don't know what's going to happen.
The steel bar?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither, actually. So, bear in mind, we have tested swords doing this exact test that didn't hold up to a single impact without warping.
Yeah,
right?
Katanas. Sorry.
Certain types of katanas. But when it comes to spring steel, man,
like
spring steel usually always holds up to this.
I would be very surprised if it didn't hold up to this. But like we said, this is 1080. A little bit harder, It's a longer blade.
Yes.
This next bit might get a little bit dicey. Do you want to go first?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, this is always so painful, Tyrant.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't want to do it.
I wasn't talking about painful on me. I was talking about painful in ruining good swords.
Oh, well, I was talking about when I hurt my hand last week. How'd you go?
Held up like a beast. So mild deformation on the edge. That can be sharpened up, and you know, that is not nowhere near, we've seen much worse, much worse.
It's fallen apart.
Oh, okay, we have loosening. Ooh. Yeah, look at, whew, pommel's come really loose on that one.
In terms of like comfort, yeah, that's lower on the list.
Edge damage. Edge damage actually quite well. We got probably the closest thing to a chip there, but that held up to some real solid abuse, and the blade is still well within functional, like.
Yes.
But the handle is
disintegrating. I'll do probably just like 3 or 4 just on the side.
Okay.
Before it becomes unsafe to use. Oh my, holy. Because it has so much flex, that is crazy. But like, yeah, that's bent.
Barely though. Well, we've seen so much worse than that.
Just so you understand, before we talk about it, do a couple, like 1 or 2 flat strikes.
All right.
You'll understand instantly what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, baby! That is like a jackhammer on your elbow, man.
Yep.
That is like, this sword is like, what, you want to do that to me? I'm going to send that right back into you, a-hole.
Well, that's why I was like, well, there's a caveat with those side strikes. I couldn't do them very hard because it sends...
It's right back.
Yeah.
But you would never strike like that. You would ever want to.
But I mean, you would block like that. You would block with the flat?
You wouldn't get that level of a reverb, though.
I
Not
think...
against another license. But look, I corrected the bend.
You did that? Yeah.
It's almost perfect now.
You did, but that's not good, actually.
Those side strikes, I think, are quite adequate in testing spring temper. We're not going to push it to bending, but I do want to just do a general spring temper test. Like, ooh, oh, that is a springy blade right there. That's good.
No bend?
No bend at all. Not on that. Alrighty, let's give final thoughts and then our rating. Thoughts on this sword, Tyreth?
I don't know, man. For the price point, that's where I'm like, if this is what you want, like if you're looking
300 and something.
But we don't know if it's US or pounds.
We can double check that. Let's assume US.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
There's better swords in that price range.
Overall quality though, let's break this down. Handling was superb. For this type of sword, it was up there.
Yeah.
All right. It cut like a beast.
It was sharp, yes.
It came really decently sharp. The fit and finish is
average.
Good.
On the sword itself?
On
average.
the sword. Like, the wrap was tight. There was no loosening. I didn't see waving on the lines of the fuller. The only thing was probably the gap in the connect.
And the inlay paint jobs and stuff, yes.
Inlay, okay, but overall I think it's still pretty good. I've seen far worse, right?
Like, keep in mind, let's compare this to like the Baylor Arms Alexandria. The fit and finish on that is almost flawless, and that's around the same price, if we're talking US, of course.
Yeah, if we're talking
like
US.
Other swords in that category, like the Kriegsmesser, that's around the same sort of price, and as much as we have issues with like maybe the comfort of it, the fit and finish of it was perfectly fine. There's fit and finish issues here.
The blade, in terms of the heat treating and tempering and the edge retention, it's a friggin' beast.
It's fine, yeah.
Spring temper on it, great. This was one of the tougher blades we've reviewed. It's not the toughest, but it's up there with the toughest.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Then the strength of the handle construction came loose.
Yeah.
We've had swords
with regular strikes.
With regular strikes. We've had swords hold together throughout all that abuse.
Yeah.
And so that does knock it down. But overall, I think we're still in the realms of a pretty decent sword.
Sure, but you got to keep in mind that with our rating board here, from like here upwards, these are really good swords. Here down, they're decent, and then down here, I'm like, oh yeah, nah, nah.
Well, with not impacting each other's thoughts on the number score we have, let us raise our fingers to indicate the number out of 10 we would give this. On 1, 2, 3. Are you ready? Are your hands ready?
Yeah, I already know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I'm on a 6.
I'm on a 5.
We're close. So,
Because like the Honshu broadsword, I think the blade is better, and even when it destroyed itself, it's still usable.
but the pummel snaps.
But like you could still use it. With this, it took nowhere near as many strikes, and it's already like almost coming off.
So, I reckon right here. The top end of 5 then.
Sure, yeah. I think that's a fair rating. And like we said, keep in mind, stuff up here and above is really good. And stuff in this sort of area is, you know, like you're gonna get your money's worth.
Yeah, this is still a quality sword. We have an affiliate link, by the way, for the sword in the description if you are interested in a well-made, I think very decent Crusader-style Templar one-handed sword.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And if you're interested in seeing some other sword reviews, what's one that you reckon might throw some people?
What was it? The
Felipe sword. Why did this sword get an 8 out of 10?
Because Shad really wanted to give it an 8 out of 10.
What did you think?
I think I was like 7 or 6.
7.
Yeah.
But it held up like a beast.
It did. It did. But we
So
didn't do
check
any
out-
edge strikes.
Check out that review.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.